Now I know none of you saw this coming, but Gwen's master plan fails. Excuse me, cat, what are you doing? Oh, you found a pen. Oh boy, here, you want to cuddle the book instead so I can steal the pen? Thank you. Confiscated. Now she's confused. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kat and we are back with the read along for the Cyborg Tinkerer by Meg LaTorre. We're getting there. The end is near. To be fair, given Gwen's master plan, she could have also died in one of these two chapters, but she didn't, so you know. So in chapter 28, the performers travel to Jinx for the third competition. And Gwen is just milling about on deck, looking at the stars, enjoying the travel, because usually she is stuck inside fixing machinery and whatnot, and now for the first time she actually gets to stand on deck and see the stars go by. Which then makes me wonder, are oxygen and gravity fields just like a bubble around your ship if you have an actual deck that you can walk on? Because this looks more like it's metal all around and, you know, a ball that you can look out the window, but you can't really walk on deck. But no, there are sailors working on the sails as well. So maybe it's just like a gravity field bubble all around the ship. I really don't know. I'm pretty sure the ship name was mentioned before, but I only noticed it now, really. It's called the Obedient, and it's like, wow, what a subtle naming convention from the mistress there. Gwen tells you again, you know, just like in the first chapter where she kept telling you that she was dying, she now tells you that Roar has betrayed and hurt her. Because you totally missed that in a couple chapters before. Sorry. We get a good line of poetry. She had a few fucking good cries in the past few days. Beautiful. And then the worst part of Gwen thinking about Aurora, Bastion, blah, again, is that she actually validates Aurora's accusation by even contemplating it for a minute. Like, oh yeah, I'm spending more time with this guy, but it's to help people. And it's like, why are you gracing this with any of your time in the first place? Because that was just... no, that was so not on. You don't need to think about this, Gwen, because it does not deserve your time. Bastion comes up to her to question her master plan again, and I'm still over here like, yeah, when will somebody finally listen to the man? But no, she won't. Instead, she lists off what she tends to do, like how she plans to sabotage certain things, and I'm just here like, yeah, why don't you speak up a little, Gwen, so maybe somebody can eavesdrop more easily or something. But his main concern is that if she gets caught, then she's in deep trouble. And she thinks this is all about her, and I think it's more about him being concerned that the Cyborg Tinkerer will then be gone and won't be able to help him with the forgetting, because getting rid of his memories is the most important thing to this guy, I think. So. And once again, the woman who didn't want anybody close to her, who didn't want to build any relationships, tells you that Bastion had just come along and somehow found his way into her heart. You're doubtful too, right? Yeah. You think it's nonsense too. And once again, Bastion just stands next to Gwen and she can feel the heat radiating off him. And I'm just like, is there something wrong with his implants, that he works like an oven? Because somebody who's just standing next to me shouldn't give off that much heat. No, you're not stepping on the PC again. No, the PC is not designed as a cat stool. She managed to step onto the power button once and corrupt the recording, so that was great. Gwen and Bastion have a conversation, a heartfelt talk about why they're doing the things they're doing and how they feel about each other, kind of, and ugh. And Gwen is just so torn. She cares about Aurora and Bastion. She can't decide. It's like, why don't you just throw a coin? Because you can't decide anyway, and we figured that your priorities are always wrong, so you might as well just toss a coin and go with whatever you get there, because it's easily as good as whatever you pick if you make a conscious decision. So yeah, you make better decisions than Gwen, don't you? Yeah, you do. Yeah, okay, you like cutting the book. I get it. They talk about the books that Bastian likes to read. Excuse me, yes, I know, the book deserves to be clawed, but I still need to read it. Yeah. And Gwen comments on the humor at the sheer idiocy of some of the characters, and I'm like, wow, that is some deep irony here. Did you just snot on the book? Yeah, okay. And she keeps referring to Bastian as a beast, and it's like, there's nothing beastly about him. The way he talks to some of the performers means he's a dick, but that's about it. Anyway, Gwen really likes the imagery of Bastian as a beast, and well, he's not, and it's starting to be really annoying. Yeah, you're more of a beast than this guy is, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Well, certainly if your opponent is a pigeon, so. But we do learn that Gwen thinks quite a lot could be learned from knowing what a person liked to read. She had discovered what a kind, sensitive person Bastian could be. So, reading smutty, humorous romance makes you a kind, sensitive person. So if I prefer to read cozy mysteries, thrillers, and dark fantasy, then what am I? Serial killer waiting to happen, or what? They go on about their feelings, and Bastian asks whether he can kiss her, and of course, because Gwen is so torn and so horny, she goes for it. They make out for a second, and Bastian tells us that he has not been with anybody for 10 years because he didn't dare to want anybody or to desire anything for himself. And it's like, yeah, sure. We get a little line that makes absolutely no sense, but if anything was going to happen between them, she had to know more about the man who didn't want his memories back, and why. But he never lost his memories. How can he not want something back that he never lost in the first place? I think the sentence should actually be, who wanted to lose his memories, or something, but because in this way it makes no sense. Bastian tells her that his family also dabbled in flesh trading and smuggling of weapons, drugs, whatever, like all kinds of stuff. So anything illegal, they would be into it. So Bastian was a smuggler. He was not a flesh trader, but he was smuggling weapons, which clearly bothers him a lot. But Gwen freaks out and runs off. Gwen hits you with this. The thought of Bastian lying to her, hiding things about his past, so soon after Aurora's betrayal, had her head swimming so fast she thought she'd be sick. He wasn't lying to you, he was just not telling you everything, because you barely know each other and you do not get to expect or demand full disclosure from this guy. And I think with his actions so far, he has proven that he will put himself out there, or will put his life on the line for Gwen. So I think this is rather unfair from her to then just run off like, oh my god, no, I can't be with this person because he was a smuggler once. And honestly, I could have done without this whole chapter, because all they did was stand on deck, kiss, talk, and then add some more unnecessary drama to the whole thing. But anyway, let's move on to chapter 29. They made it to Jinx. Apparently the ship wasn't shot down, because we don't get to read anything about the landing, the setting up. We are right into the third competition. Gwen is peeking at the stage with some other people, And apparently this is the worst audience you can possibly have, because there are already people shooting, so far only in the air, but you can expect worse things to happen soon. Yeah, as Mazana says, it's a miracle they didn't shoot their ship down, and maybe that would have been more interesting? I don't know. Gwen is still dealing with her biggest priority. Oh, can I trust Bastion? I can't be hurt again, not so soon after Aurora. And it's like, is nobody thinking about the part where plenty of people might die this very evening or soon after? And she's just there like, oh, which one do I choose? I can't trust anybody. It's like, oh, Gwen, you know what? Just, how about you buy yourself something battery driven? Do something about that, and then maybe you can think clearly, just for 5 minutes. Would be helpful. While all of the performers are on stage for an opening number, Gwen sets out to sabotage some stuff. She instantly gets caught by Celeste, emerging from a dark hallway that Gwen hasn't seen before. But didn't her cyborg eye equip her with like X-ray vision? How could she not notice them then? The mistress just turns up at like 12 watchmen. It's like, I'm so disappointed in you, because Abuken instantly went off to tell the mistress, hey, somebody's gonna fuck with the props. Yeah. So the watchmen surround Gwen, but she knew at once she didn't stand a chance against 12 guards. Yeah, no shit. 12 against 1. Like, you're not a freaking Terminator, Gwen. You have one cyborg part, and it's your eye. And you didn't even use it properly, because then you wouldn't be in this situation. So the watchmen catch Gwen. She tries to run off for a second, but doesn't get very far. They beat her up, and Celeste orders them to break one of Gwen's legs. I think she only gets one broken. Yeah, okay, Celeste orders both of them to be broken, but I think we only make it to one before somebody interferes, but Gwen thinks Bastion was right. And yeah, is anybody surprised? I mean, apart from Gwen and the other masterminds of this plan? But the performers and Bastion make it off the stage just in time to interfere after her first leg is broken, and Bastion offers himself up instead to save Gwen from further pain. And I really don't get this part. So Bastion offers to be her apprentice again. But he is already working for her, like he's the ringleader and she is his boss. And he's still working with the beast because he goes out on stage later to actually do a number with the cyborg beasts. So if he's still working for Celeste, then what difference does it make for him to be her apprentice? I don't get it. If she has power over him anyway, even if he's the ringleader, I don't get it. Do I need to know more about how a circus works to understand this? Because usually I try to stay as far away as possible from anything that involves clowns. So we get some nice hypocrisy from Gwen, though, because obviously she's thankful that Bastion stepped in and is trying to save her. At that moment, she wished for nothing more than a few minutes alone with him, to apologize for being a complete and utter fool. His past didn't define who he was, not when he was trying so hard to be a better man, to protect her and the others. After demanding full disclosure and then running off and like, oh no, your past is too terrible, I can't be with you, she now hits you with like, his past doesn't define him. It was like, wow. Wow, Gwen. You bitch. So Bastion agrees to be the mistress's apprentice again. Gwen gets fixed up by the healer. The performers return to the stage and do all of their acts. Mazana and Akio are doing okay because the crowd gets to vote in the end. But Akio gets shot because somebody in the crowd clearly disagreed. Poor Akio, he's alive, don't worry about that. But plenty of other performers did not make it through, like they shot the fire breather on stage and a couple of others as well. And I'm over here like, well, I guess Gwen doesn't care for all of those cyborgs all that much. Because even if she had messed with the props successfully, this probably wouldn't have saved any of them. That wouldn't have affected their own act. So even if Aberkan and Faniel and whoever else belongs to that group had done worse, then it would have just gotten more people shot rather than save the others that didn't do so well by themselves. The healer is also the second person with common sense, because as soon as he's done fixing up Gwen's leg, he runs for it. It's like, just get away from this person. Probably eager to be away from the woman who kept pissing off the mistress. It's like, yeah, that sounds like common sense to me. So the audience gets to vote by clapping, cheering, booing, whatever, and Bastion announces the 10 winning acts. And as before, I just have to wonder, why does any cyborg still think any rules apply here? You've just been murdered left and right in very different and horrible ways, and you're all just still playing along. I don't know how many Watchmen the Mistress really has, but I feel like this might be the best planet where you should have just tried to fight your way out before this competition. I don't know. And here it is. I did say, it seems like Gwen only cares about a very specific set of people, and yes, her friends had survived the final competition. What about all the others? Before you told us you were so concerned about your cyborg family and you had to save all of them. And now it's suddenly just about your friends. It's really just about 4 people, because those are the only people that I ever named. Roa, Bastion, Mazana and Akio. She doesn't know anybody else by name aside from the enemies. And the only other person who ever got a name was the one that died in the first competition and the acrobat that died in the second competition, who was only talking to Roa. I don't think Gwen knew her even. So Gwen cares about 4 people plus herself, that's it. Gwen does get some insight. She contemplates how the Union isn't safe for cyborgs and how Bastion is now at the beck and call of the one he feared. And for what? Nothing Gwen had tried to do had made a difference. I do think it did make a difference. You made things a lot worse in more than one instance. And to be fair, you did save people in the second competition. And you probably also saved people during the surgeries, but that doesn't get them far if they then get sold as slaves, so... But that's not really on her, is it? So... But because Gwen is hurt, she doesn't fare so well in the surgeries, and the Watchmen take over at some point and just hack things off with axes, whether the performer dies or not. And once again, why do you need Gwen at all if you don't care whether you have somebody to sell after or not? If you just want the implant back, then you didn't really need the surgeon. And again, if it was really about getting the implants back as intact as possible, then the mistress should be doing those surgeries. Nothing makes sense anymore, but what does it matter? We end the chapter with Gwen thinking the mistress had won, and now she had Bastion in her clutches too. Yeah, but was he ever out of her clutches? Because... Oh yeah, she did show you her retractable nails in this chapter when she was attacking Gwen. So, you know. So you know that her one usage of X-ray vision, where she could see that those nails were not human but metal, did not go to waste. Although I feel that's the only time she ever used this X-ray vision. Well, it could have come in handy in other places as well, but nope, nope. What an exciting way to fail at your master plan, Gwen. And we all saw it coming. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back next week with another video. Like and subscribe if you want to help the channel out. And let me know in the comments who Gwen should pick, Bastion or Aurora. Or nobody, which would be my choice in this scenario. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye guys!